All right. Hey, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. We have a really special guest, which I know we all absolutely adore, and we're super excited. So I'm just going to kind of talk about a few things before Kacia gets started. So we have Core de Force, which is launching pretty soon. October 31st opens the challenge packs, and then November 1st is the base kit. So obviously, coaches, we are getting it on November 1st. I posted a whole calendar plan in the team page, so definitely look at that. I put a couple of videos in there too with Joel kind of explaining it, especially the meal plan. I think people had some questions about if it uses the fixed containers, and it does, but definitely watch that video. It's very informative. Next Saturday is Super Saturday. Hopefully everyone has their tickets. If not, go jump on it right now. Go into the Coach Online office. Go to the events. You can search your zip code and find one near you. For if you're in the Jersey area, we obviously have the Philly one. And then I think Jersey, Connecticut, and New York are combining one in lower New York somewhere, something like that. And I think there's tickets still available for that. And Joel and Jericho, the creators of Core de Force, are going to be in the New York one. So definitely try to get on in any Super Saturdays. Events are absolutely huge, so definitely try and get to them. I think that's really all I wanted to say because I wanted Kacia to kind of take the floor. I'm going to have Leah introduce her because I asked, a couple of the leaders on the team, hey, we need some speakers for team calls, and Leah just messaged Kacia, and bam. So, Leah, definitely going to do the honors. So, go ahead.
Can everybody hear me? Okay. Hi, Kacia.
Hi.
All right. So, I have the pleasure of introducing Kacia Fitzgerald tonight. She is the co-founder, correct, of Team Fit Foundation. She started coaching in January 2014. And left her corporate job at Google in April 2015, has been coaching full-time ever since. She is a Success Club 10 All-Star legend, an 8-star diamond, and personally sponsored 15 diamonds in all of her business centers. She didn't put this in her little bio she gave me, but she is from Seattle. And she lives right here near us in New York City with her boyfriend, Sina, and her brand new puppy. I'm sure you're going to have puppy stories to tell us about. And if you guys don't already follow her, she's totally awesome. And we are super honored to have you on the call. So take it away.
Thank you so much for the introduction. I'm so excited to be here. I'm so glad you shot me a message. I love just getting the opportunity to share what has totally, completely changed my life in such a short amount of time in the big scheme of things. So Layla just gave an amazing introduction with a bunch of accolades and that kind of thing. But I want to tell you guys just a little bit more about my backstory, and then I'll kind of dive into what I really wanted to speak to you guys about tonight, which is duplication. And then I'll talk a little bit more about attracting coaches, the things that people really want to hear about. So for a little bit of background about me, I ran my first challenge group, like she said, in January of 2014. But I actually signed up as a coach in September 2013. So what happened is I signed up as a coach strictly to get the discount. I didn't even understand what Beachbody was. My upline coach is Brigitte Linford. And she was the only coach that I happened to be following on Instagram, and she posted quotes, motivational quotes. And I was like, oh, she's so cute, and she has a cute little family. I knew nothing about her story. I didn't connect with her story, nothing like that. Literally, she was just the only coach that I knew. So I ordered P90X offline, and I decided I would put her name down because I thought maybe she would earn commission. I literally had no idea how Beachbody works. I didn't understand what a coach was. So kind of funny how I connected with her. Apparently there aren't a lot of Kacias. So she reached out to me on Facebook, asking me to be in one of her challenge groups. And I said no, mostly because I thought this was a weird, sketchy pyramid scheme thing. And I wasn't down with whatever she was doing, but I was like, oh, that's cute. That's great for her. But I have a quote unquote real job. I'm a project manager. I have a real job. That's the way that I thought about it then, which is so funny looking back, about 3 years ago, because my mindset is completely different. I don't now define myself by my job title, which I did then. So I signed up as a coach strictly to get a discount. I told her there's no way that I want to build a business, but I'm down to get a discount because if Shakeology tastes even kind of good with what's in it, I'm going to drink this every single day. It's going to be so convenient for my life that I don't really care about anything else. Like, I'll sign up for the discount. She put me into her team page, and she didn't introduce me as a discount coach. I'm really big on that. Like, I don't believe in putting labels on anyone. She just added me into her team page and said, turn off the notifications if you want. This is our community page. I know you're not interested in building a business. I'm never going to push you, but just so you know, here it is. So I always add all discount coaches, quote unquote, into the team page. I don't announce them as discount coaches. And I tell them the same thing because that's how I got started. What happened wasn't necessarily that I saw her journey in terms of her sharing, for those of you that don't know Brigitte Linford, she's had a lot of success in this business. She was kind of like rising up in the business and retired her husband right after I joined, and all this crazy stuff happened to her. But that was not actually what made me want to do this business. I had I just really didn't understand how the structure of this worked. And like I said, I didn't deem it as a real job. So I thought, she's a stay-at-home mom and she fell into this or something, and that's how it works. I didn't really get it. But what made me want to start my first challenge group in January 2014 was in the team page, people were sharing that they were having coaches reach out to them or challengers reach out to them, and they were sending them crying voicemails. And they were getting texts saying, you changed my life. You made such an impact on me. So I was completely driven by a lack of fulfillment in my own life of wanting to make an impact. And I think it's really interesting because there was a time in my business where I decided before I would invite someone, I decided what they were going to say. I don't know if you guys have ever done this before, but there was a time, maybe 6 months to a year into my business, where I looked at some people that had corporate jobs that looked like they were marketing managers, or they were directors, or they had these fancy job titles. And I decided for them, I'm not going to invite them because they're probably not going to be interested in something like this. But what brought me into this business? I had an awesome job that I loved. I loved my job. I had great financial stability. I had career trajectory, but I was lacking the fulfillment. So the reason I even bring that up and share that as kind of part of my intro is because I think often we forget that there's a lot of different facets that can bring people into Beachbody. Wanting to pay it forward, financial, obviously, the community, making new friends. You never really know what someone could benefit from this opportunity. So it's just, I believe, your job as a coach to get them in the door and let them make the decision for themselves. So you can determine your success on your actions of how many people you're trying to reach out to and just share this opportunity with, because it's blessed your life in some way. And you see the potential for the future. Otherwise, you wouldn't be on this call right now or listening to this recording because you wouldn't be investing in your business. To each their own. So anyway, like I said, once I decided that I was lacking the fulfillment part that I wasn't getting from my corporate job, and I just wanted to make an impact on people. That was seriously the reason. I did not think this would be a real job. I did not think that I would end up tripling my Google income. I did not think I would pay for my boyfriend Cena's student loans at NYU Dental as he's going through the program right now. I never in a million years thought that I would build a team of, at this point, close to 2,000 coaches. Never did I ever see that when I started, right? So I saw that I can make an impact, and I really wanted to make an impact. I just wanted people to say, because of you, my life is different. And that's what drove me. So January 2014, I ran my first group. I went diamond really quickly. Part of the reason was because my coach was pushing for 15-star diamond. Like I said, I didn't even know what that meant, but I wanted to be one of her 15. So I went diamond in 6 weeks. Completely all coaches that were interested in the discount. I just invited everyone because I was super excited. I didn't really even think about this, like I said, as a business. But the summit that year, Coach Summit, the big annual Beachbody event, was in Vegas at the MGM. In June of 2014, 6 months after I'd been a coach. So I was a diamond coach and I went there. And you guys, I still didn't think it was a real job, but I really like Vegas. So that's part of the reason why I went. And I went there and I was sitting on the floor because it was so packed in the room. And I watched my coach, Brigitte, and another coach in the network, Christina Delgado, speak about the business. And Christina was a partner in a law firm. And to me at that time, with my brain, how it worked, I thought, well, that's like a real job. Like, oh my gosh, she left a real crazy, like, partner in a law firm job to be a Beachbody coach. Like, people leave real jobs to do this. And we saw so many people that had completely different backgrounds and stories and body types and goals and visions of like what this could be. And my boyfriend, Sina, and I looked at each other and we're like, why am I just dabbling in this? Like, I need to jump in full force. I need to go gung-ho. I don't care how long it takes. This is going to be my full-time job. I'm going to make my life about people. And then I'm going to learn how to build a business as I'm doing it. And then I'm going to teach everyone how to do whatever I learned. So right then, that was when I decided that I was going to do it. So it was pretty surreal because this year I actually got to speak at Summit. So very full circle. But it's kind of taught me to go back to that person that I was 6 months into coaching as often as I possibly can when I'm talking to coaches. And then to go back to the person that I was before I ran my first challenge group when I'm talking to potential prospective challengers. Because I think regardless of your tenure in the business, you kind of have to put yourself into the place of the person that you're asking through social media or in a conversation to join. So for example, I think about the fact that I was very nervous about joining a challenge group because I didn't want to seem like I needed help. Right? I just thought like I wanted to seem like I had my ish together and I didn't need anyone to help me. I didn't want to start a business because I was very scared about what my peers would think about me starting a business. That I didn't want to fail. I didn't want to publicly fail and look like I didn't know what to do. I didn't think I looked like the cover of Shape magazine. Like I didn't have a six pack. So I thought people wouldn't want me to be their coach. And because the job that I had at the time, I was a project manager and I oversaw a team that was in China and my manufacturers were in Taiwan and I was living in Seattle. So I was so busy, probably the busiest I've ever been in my entire life. So I didn't think I had time. So the things that I talk about most often on social media are the things that almost 3 years ago now, were worried about when I wanted to start a business and when I wanted to become a challenger. Those are the things that I talk about the most. Because that's who I'm looking to attract. I'm trying to help as many Kacias from September 2013 as I possibly can. So they're going to have the same fears as me. They're going to have the same insecurities as me. They're going to have the same hesitations as me. And I'm going to talk directly to them. And I'll tell you guys, I was really nervous about getting that specific because when I first started, I thought I want to appeal to everyone. Because if I appeal to everyone, then more people are going to want to join me. Then I'm going to have higher Success Club members. Then I'm going to have more people that reach out to me. In reality, I found that when I narrowed in on who I was actually talking to, like what is this girl like? What are her interests? What does she think is funny? What is she scared about? Why would she not want to be a coach? How could I publicly talk about those objections so that she can see a sneak peek into the fact that I didn't believe that this was a real job? So I get that she doesn't, right? I didn't think that investing in my health was important. So I get that she doesn't. Maybe she's not as worried about income, the cost of Shakeology, but she's worried about it being a sketchy, weird, like pyramid scheme thing. So I'm going to talk about the things that I was concerned about. So if I were to give you an action item to take away from this, it would be, and I talk to my coaches about this all the time, sit down and think back to when you first started. If you've been a coach for a week, a day, 10 years, oh no, no years been a coach for 10 years, whatever, 2 years, 5 years. Write down what you were worried about before you became a challenger. And when you're doing your invites and you're getting objections, that's awesome post content, right? Because then you can publicly talk about the objections. One thing that I find with newer coaches that have big goals in this business and are super freaking pumped is they talk about Beachbody as rainbows, butterflies, and unicorns coming out of their butt every damn day. And that, my friends, will not attract people into the business. Because if they're the tiniest bit skeptical, okay, raise your hand if you signed up the time that your upline coach reached out to you to be a coach, right when they asked you. Okay, yeah. Oh, okay, Jennifer did. Hey, Jennifer, holler. Okay. Anyway, most people don't, right? I asked that in like the summit speaking stage of like 7,000 people and there was like 5 people. I'm like, okay, yeah, point taken. So the point is that those people are going to want to watch you, and they're probably skeptical of something. Either they're scared of their own fear, like their fear of failure. They think it's sketchy. They don't think they can do it. So you've got to talk about those things that you were nervous about. Don't talk about every single day that you're crushing your workout, like 5 out of 5, like I am a ninja, like I can do anything. That's great, and be inspiring. But also remember, like, it's so empowering to talk about the times when things aren't going to your advantage. It's great to talk about the times when you're working. Sometimes, like on Saturday morning, I just got a puppy. Like Layla said, I'm obsessed with her. I post a picture of her on Instagram like every day. My boyfriend's like, okay, this is getting aggressive. But I was working with her on Saturday morning, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, this is not a post that's going to get a ton of traction, but I'm working on my business on a Saturday morning because I actually wanted to work on my business on a Saturday morning because I was excited about it. So I'm also going to talk about those things because I know that my target market is so skeptical that this is a real business that they want to see that people are working. They want to see business jargon. They want to see that you didn't just get lucky because they don't believe that things fall into your lap. That's what the girl that I'm talking to thinks, because that's what I thought. So don't be afraid to talk about the work. Not only does that attract people that are willing to do the work, that see what could happen, but they won't come in and think that it's going to happen overnight. So you're laying that foundation proactively before they even sign up. And when you're talking about your objections publicly, then you're going to find that your conversations are a little bit easier. Because if you're talking about how you thought this shake was so expensive, you wanted to pull your head out of your head, you're like, there's no way I'm buying this. And then you drink it for a week and you're like, my poops are amazing, my skin's so clear, my hair's growing, whatever it is. If you want to talk about poop, I don't know. Now that I have a dog, I feel like I'm just like, yeah, I can talk about anything. But the point being, talk about the things that you were worried about and what your skepticism was. And I think there's a lot of times that people in the network as a whole are afraid to talk about those things because they're afraid that it's not going to look like sunshine and lollipops and rainbows coming out of your butt and that people won't want to join you. But I found it to be the opposite, because then when you're inviting people and you're doing, like, to give you this is kind of a random tangent, my cycle of how I do things. I add someone on Facebook. When they accept my friend request, I add them to a tracker, which is a Google Drive. I can send it to Rose or Layla or whatever. It's super simple. I keep this business as freaking simple as possible. I don't use like fancy trackers or anything like that. I add their name, I put the date, and then I write, hey girl, like, cause I'm looking to basically bring in like 25 to 40-year-old females. That's 25 to 35 even at that point, into my business. That's the majority of my coaches that work full-time corporate jobs. They're newly married. They don't have kids yet. Okay. So they're in the same stage of life that I'm in. And I'm talking to those people regularly, so those tend to be the people that I'm attracting. So I actually coined, like, I call it hey girl message because I think about it like a friendship. Like, hey girl, how are you? So that I add them on Facebook. I add them to the tracker. I send them a hey girl message, meaning, hey girl, thanks for the ad. I saw that, I saw we had mutual friends in common, or you were in this New Yorkers Love the Seahawks group. Do you live in the city? So simple, ending with a question, okay? Then just like a normal conversation, except for it's done through the computer, you can tell if they like you or not. Like, they're going to respond to your question and have a conversation. Great. If not, that's okay. Because I define my success as these tiny little things that I'm going to share with you guys that I do consistently. So I'm winning. Like, I get to win every single day if I do the work. And part of my work is literally sending out 5 of those minimum every single day, just to new people that I'm talking to. Whether they respond to me or not, whether they like me or not, that's beyond my control, which is really awesome, right? When you think about that, it's like, I'm actually, if they respond to me, awesome. And we have a great conversation and I make a new friend, cool. If this person, and what happens more often than them actually responding is they won't respond, but you know what they'll do? Facebook pushes your stuff through their newsfeed because of the algorithms. They see your stuff. They will not like on it. They will not comment on it, but randomly one day they'll send you a message, right? Or when you go to invite them, randomly you're like, hey, like, because you put them on a list and you like their stuff and you comment on their stuff and I call it flirting, whatever. You're like having a conversation with them, like via your liking and commenting on their pictures, building that relationship. They will know that you are the person to reach out to when they want help with something, whether it's they want to coach or they want to be a challenger. And imagine if you did that to so many people, then you have so many people that your content is getting pushed through their newsfeed. And you're so dang consistent because you show up every single day, even on the days when it's not convenient, doing those tiny little things, that you're just building all these awesome relationships and you're pumped about it. right? So anyways, after that point, I keep them on my tracker as a hey girl message. And then when I go back to invite them, I just change the column, which like I said, I'll send you guys this tracker. I change the column to say challenge group invite. And that's literally how I invite them. So I think that I read this morning, so I'm reading the 12-week year right now. And I read this morning, I wrote it down actually. You have greater control over your actions than you do over your results. And that's really powerful when you think about it, because I decided that I really like to win. This is going to sound weird. I really like to win. So I like to set myself up for success every single day, the best way that I know how. So in my little planner here, I wrote down the things that I'm going to do every single day. And this is my recipe for how I win. For me, and again, your goals, you got to figure out what this is for you. For me, I do 1 hour personal development minimum. Honestly, I'm doing like 5 hours, but I always do 1 hour. I work out, I drink Shakeology. Send out at least 5 new friend requests. I hey girl anyone that accepts me. And then in addition, I send out 5 hey girl messages. I do 5+ follow-ups with anyone from previously. I post at least once on Facebook and at least once on Instagram, at least once on my like page. I just started doing that because I kind of dropped off the face, and do Instagram stories. That's all I do. And if I do that every single day, then I win every single day. But the problem is the inaction and deciding that you don't know, like you have so much to do. You have no idea how to build this business. You have big goals and you haven't got there yet. That inaction breeds all of this fear. And then it's just the start that's going to stop you, right? Or even worse, the restart. I just posted this on Facebook, but it's so hard to watch when someone's like gung ho, and then they're like, it's like driving a stick shift car up a hill. They're like, yeah, I love Beachbody. Like, I'm going to send out 100 invites. And then they're like, they get burnt out because that's not how this business is built. And they totally stop, like, and then they do it again. They're going back and forth. Like that momentum, my dog is just like, what's going on? That momentum, that's so hard to maintain for runners. Like I ran the New York Marathon last year, and I will tell you, I'm not fast, but I'm freaking consistent. I will stay steady, and steady is what will make you move this business forward. So I don't even know, like, I'm really just kind of talking to you about the things that are like on my heart right now, because this is what I've been talking with my team about so often, is it's just those little basics. And I think sometimes you think, oh, let me look at this coach who, has a large team, or let me look at these other top coaches that are making like amazing like money in this business, and they have huge teams and huge followings on social media. Like, what are they doing? If I could just talk to one of them and get the secret sauce. The reality is, Rose or anyone would tell you, it's literally just those tiny little things. You guys hear this all the time, so I know you're probably just like, okay, Kacia. But the tiny little things that are so easy to do, they're so easy not to do it. The difference between if you reach your goals or not is literally just if you do it, right? That's it. And so and if you're a leader, you are, because you signed up as a coach. You're a leader day one. I think when you sign up, you're a leader. Whether you have a team or not, you've got to act like you have a team. Act like you're leading from the front of what you would want your coaches to duplicate, right? So whenever I feel like I'm getting like squirrely or a little bit off track, I'm asking myself, if my coaches, current coaches, you have a team, if you have one coach under you, you have a team. And if you don't have coaches yet, treat your business like this now and learn how to do this now fundamentally, because it's going to impact you so much when you do have a larger organization. If my team or my coaches did what I did today, would they reach their goals? Are you working out? Are you reading personal development? Are you hitting Success Club? Because if you have the expectations that your coaches are going to hit Success Club and you're not hitting Success Club, get out of here, right? Get out of here, because no one believes what you say. They believe what you do. So I don't know. I just think there's a lot of power that comes from literally just checking yourself. Because a lot of times right now, this season, I am hearing this from a lot of my coaches. So I don't know if you guys have experienced this yourself. People are saying no or whatever. Well, great. Talk to more people then. Plant more seeds. If you have big goals with this business, I don't know what your big goals are. I don't know you all independently. But if you were my personally sponsored coaches, I would know your why. And when you told me that you want to help people, I would say, BS, give me more. Tell me the thing that scares you, makes you want to pee your pants, and you don't actually want to say out loud. Like, I want to hear that. Otherwise, like, we're just going to end this call now, which is my personality type. So, because I want to know more. Like, I want to know a couple layers deeper. Because if you don't want to help people, you should probably just quit, like literally right now. Just log off this call or stop listening to this recording and actually just file your coach cancellation form. Because if you don't want to help people, what are you doing here? Of course you want to help people. That's like obvious, right? So think about something that's a little bit deeper, right? And then hit Success Club and help any of your coaches hit Success Club. And then do it again, and then do it again, and then do it again. And then you're going to be sitting here being like, how is this my life? Like, and you look around, you're like, what in the world? How did this happen? And it happened from doing those consistent basics, catering to my niche and showing up every single day, even on the days when it's not convenient. Sometimes I totally suck at what I show up for, right? Sometimes my messages are just like, and I'm just doing it. But I know that inaction breeds fear and all this other nonsense stuff, self-worth and like doubting and all this crap. That's all this blah. No, sometimes you just have to do it because you get so excited and you get the confidence as you start building. And if you can give yourself a win every single day, and you decide what that win is, right? Like, no, I'm not going to tell you what that win is for you. Layla's not going to tell you. Rose is not going to tell you. Haley's not going to tell you. Danielle's not going to tell you. No one's going to tell you what that is. You have to decide for yourself what that is. I would say if you want to build a really successful business, maybe the vital behaviors would be a great place to start, but I'm not your boss and neither is Rose. But I would start with that because I'll tell you that's how I built a $300,000 business from doing that, right? So do those things and get really dang good at being you while you do it. So do it your way. Don't look at trying to be the next Rose. Be the best Sue, right? Be the best, absolute best version of you that you can be and cater to the people that need you because there are so many people that would not vibe with me. They would be like, Kacia, you are really weird. You drop truth bombs. Like you're too aggressive. I have no idea what you're saying. Like you talk about your dog so much, like whatever. They wouldn't like me. And that's okay because I don't want to be everyone's cup of tea. But I want to be some people's like gung-ho go-to girl and they will vibe with me and everyone else, bless and release. That's totally fine. Get really, really, really good at being you and show up every day. That's honestly all I could tell you. And if you do that, you will not be complaining about your team that doesn't get it. You're not going to be complaining about like, oh, if only my coaches were like, you know, more motivated. It's like, no, your job is to model what you want your coaches to do. So if you want your coaches to hit Success Club, why are you even talking about it if you haven't done it? Like you have to lead from the front because everyone watches what you do. And a lot of coaches, and I'll tell you, when my business has struggled more, it's because I have decided, oh, I'm going to just like pour into my team and I'm going to put my own business on the back burner. And I'm going to stop doing those things that I told you that I should be doing every single day, right? That doesn't work because people watch what you do. They don't care as much what you say. So anyways, that's kind of like what I've been thinking about a lot. Just in terms of this business, I'm happy to answer questions or go a different direction. I can literally just talk all night with you guys. So you let me know. Someone tell me the direction you guys want me to go.
Wow, I got a lot of notes. Awesome stuff here. Did anyone have any questions before I kind of dig in? Don't be shy. Don't be shy.
I have a question real quick.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so I remember from like a previous team call you've done for us, when you do your Hey Girl messages, like especially the new people that you add and stuff, like when that combo, hey girl, you know, you live in this city, Austin, me too, like when that kind of ends, like do you kind of just end it and then you go back and invite them later, right? You don't like give it all at once. Like, I don't know, I feel like it's always awkward, just like, okay, nice to meet you, peace.
Yes, this is what I say. Like, I always end it myself. And then what I do is like, are you guys familiar with Facebook lists? If you're not, go to YouTube, type in Facebook list and start making those. What I do is, so I add them to my physical little like Google Drive tracker after I've Hey Girl messaged them. I end the conversation. Normally I say something along the lines of like, it's been so nice chatting with you. I'm sure I'll be creeping on all of your pictures. You're so cute or whatever. Because that's actually how I talk to my friends and talk to everyone. Talk to my mom that way. So, so I end the conversation myself and then I add them to a Facebook list. But I always end it. And even if that's not your personality, don't say that because people will be like, this doesn't even sound like you. Be like, it's been so nice chatting with you. I hope you have a good rest of your day. I'll talk to you soon. And just end it. It's not awkward. It's only awkward if you like overthink it. But truth of the matter is now, like, if you're able to just think about the way that Beachbody has blessed your life in one way or another, whether you've been a coach for a day or years, whether you've made $1, whether you've made $0 or you've made thousands of dollars, it really doesn't make a difference. If you are coming from a place that you could imagine if your coach quit or never started or never invited you or never sent you a message or never added you on Facebook or never showed up consistently or never posted, where would you be? Like, what a freaking gift and blessing to pay forward to other people. So I think about it as like, that's one of my ways that I win. So I don't get awkward about it because I'm like, hey, I'm sending this message. I've done my job. I've started the conversation. I've broken the ice. I've planted the seed, however you want to frame it. So now if it's the right time and place, they're going to start to follow me or they're going to delete me, whatever, I don't care, or unfollow me. Of course, I'd prefer that like everyone wants to join everything, but honestly, I don't, because if they're not right for me and they don't vibe with my personality, then we're not going to vibe long term anyway. So I end the conversation, I add them to my Facebook list, and then I'll just like and comment on their pictures. If anything exciting happens to them, and I'm doing that to so many people that I have enough people to invite because that process continues, right? So if you're just getting started with like sending more hey girl messages, you're adding more new people to your network, come from a place of gratitude. Make a list or make a little video to yourself, like how has Beachbody impacted me and how can it serve other people? How can I pay this blessing forward? And if you come from that state, you're never going to feel weird and you're going to feel way less nervous about a rejection that someone gives you or about someone not responding. You're going to not go into that mental place that's like, oh, what's wrong with me? They don't like me. They think it's weird that I post selfies. They think it's weird that I'm like trying to be salesy and blah, blah, all this stuff that's totally not true. The lies that you're basically feeding yourself and the stories that you're creating. But in reality, if you just decide, I'm so pumped about all the blessings that I've had already from this business, I have to pay it forward. I feel selfish if I don't pay it forward. Then you come from a place where it's like, girl, like I'm inviting you to my party. If you want to come, come. If you don't, then it's okay. Do your own thing, you know? It's not for everyone. So the more that you do it and the more you come from that mental state, you don't feel as nervous. And the likelihood that you run into this person at Trader Joe's is like so slim because it's online anyways. So I add them to my prospect list and I'll do that. And then I'll reach back out to them and send them a message. It just makes it so much easier because I'm doing that to so many people that I always have people to invite. And then I can go back to them and authentically invite them based off of our conversation. Even if we didn't have a really great conversation, when I invite them, I can say like, hey girl, I know I've been creeping all of your pictures. You seem like a girl like me, or you seem like someone that would love community. I'm actually starting this like online fit girls club. It's a bunch of other girls like us that do like wine, but also want to work out. I thought it might be up your alley. What do you think? And I don't even tell them that much about it because then I'm breadcrumbing to see like what they think at that point, and that's how I'm doing an invite. So I can still authentically invite because I know a little bit more about them. And I'm not sending them a message that's like, hey, let me tell you, I started as a Beachbody coach and I built this business and now I left my job at Google and I want you to do this with me. People would be like, I don't care what you did. I don't even know you. You're this random girl that added me because we live in New York. Like, that's weird. So I'm never talking about myself. And same with fitness. I'm not like, you should do 21 Day Fix because I've helped over 200 girls lose like 10 to 20 pounds. I'm like, it's a portion containers. Do you want to know about all the colors? Like, what? Give me all the yellows. Like, people would be like, I have no idea what you're talking about. So just remember that if you determine your success by starting those conversations and planting those seeds, you trust because you do a ton of personal development and you reach out to a ton of people, that the right people will come into your business and for that matter, into your life and stay because you're doing you the best that you can. Is it Haley or Hallie? Haley.
Haley, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so you are the best freaking Haley and the most consistent Haley of all times, that you're just adding people out the yin yang and you're being you and the right people are coming into your business and you just like on their posts and you just do you and you keep doing it and you show up every day. Boom.
Awesome. Love it.
And then you're a guest host on my call. Please.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you bet. Anyone else? Yeah. Hey girl.
Hey girl. So my kind of thing is I don't ever have a problem talking to new people, making new friends, messaging people. I seem to kind of get hung up on the business aspect. And it's not because I'm like, shy's not my thing. Like, it's definitely not that. I just don't know how to come off without seeming, like I was actually totally stalking your Facebook today. So I kind of was looking at some of your posts on how you so casually, but yet perfectly introduce the business. And I'm like, now if I do it, because I kind of have an aggressive personality, and for the very first, I don't know, still probably, I have to like literally like talk myself off a beach body vomit ledge where I'm like, bah, 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 like I can't. And I'm afraid to be that way with the business. And then they're going to be like, this bitch is just trying to make money. Like, now I know why she's so excited and posting all the time. So that's kind of like my biggest hang up. Now, actually, Jen that waved her hand, she's one of my coaches, and she literally did sign up after we had one conversation because I know her. And even though I totally beach vomited, like I was like, told her everything like in the hour, like in such fast talking speed. It was unbelievable. But we're very the same personality. So it worked out. You know, I didn't scare Jen, thank God. But, you know, that's a thing for me. Like, I looked at your page and I was like, oh my God, it's so effortless. And I literally had to dial myself back or else I'm going to seem like a psycho.
So a couple of things. The conciseness comes from just practice, right? To be honest. Because I was a word vomiter. Like, I went back to a couple of my, like, to show my coaches because they're like, yeah, like, you've always done great invites. I'm like, you have no idea. I literally sent like 5-paragraph essays to do challenge group invites of all the reasons why I thought they should join, not knowing anything about these people. So everyone's been there, right? And I honestly don't tone yourself down to fit into what you think you should be. There's coaches, like I just had a coach, I don't know if you guys know Trey Bearer, who was on a guest host on our team call, and we swapped calls a couple weeks ago. And like, he is so authentically himself, and he is way too much for a lot of people. Like, I love him. But he's way too much for a lot of people, but he's so right for some, right? So don't tone your personality down to fit into a bubble of what you think it should be. In terms of word vomiting, remove your physical hands from the keyboard. Like, if you're inviting, put your hands under your butt. That sounds so stupid, but like, just stop, breathe, and think about why can they benefit, and ask questions. And it is never, ever, ever, ever about you. Your success in this business is directly correlated with the amount of people that you can help get what they want. Has absolutely nothing to do with you. But that being said, there are some things that you can do to proactively set the foundation, which is talking about the business, using what your target market is going to resonate with. So I use business jargon, right? I would say conference call and business meeting. And like, I talk about it like I have a business, because I do, but I talked about it even when it was like a hobby that way, because people understand the business jargon. You've got to talk about income, and you have to come from a place of gratitude. And what you think is not substantial is so substantial. If you were able to cover the cost of Shakeology, if you made $100 from doing something that you love, you made $20, like, it doesn't matter. Sharing that attracts people into the business. And I will tell you, the more income that you make, the harder it is to do that, because people do not resonate with, oh, I wrote a blah, blah check for my boyfriend's tuition. It's almost like it's so far away that it doesn't seem possible, right? But $100 a week, that will get business builders in the door. I signed up 5 of my current Star Diamond coaches from a post about buying a MacBook with 2 months of my Beachbody income when I first started. 5, and they're all still there. 5. Like, that's crazy, right? So don't be afraid to talk about the business like a business. Talk about working when you're working on the business. Talk about your success. Talk about your coach's success. Talk about your customer's success. Talk about that. But that being said, I will tell you, and I go back to the basics, which is I always believe that the best coaches come from my challenge groups. So I'm going to get the people that I would want as coaches into my challenge groups. And they're going to be awesome challengers. And then my process works like this. They get into my challenge group, private Facebook group. First, if they're awesome in the challenge group, because if they're not awesome, I'm not asking them to be a coach. The first, meaning like if they don't participate, then I'm like, they're not going to be a great coach anyways if they're not even participating. In my, again, this is totally my opinion. Don't take this as like truth, but this is literally how I built my entire business. First week, if they're checking in, girl, I'm so appreciative of you, sending a private message to them. I'm so appreciative of you. You freaking rock at this. I love having you in the challenge group. It's so cool to see how you pump people up. Second week, you are literally doing what I'm doing. I will say this in a message. Girl, you are literally doing what I'm doing as a coach. You're just not getting paid. You are freaking killing this. I love you because of X reason. Planting the seed. And I'm ending it with the question of like, have you ever thought about doing this? And keep in mind, while I'm in my challenge groups, I'm treating my challenge, even though I do this full time now, and I have since April 2015. Yeah. Wow. Oh my gosh, that like flew by. Okay. So April 2015, since I've been full time, I've still done this the same. I've done this the same for my entire business since January 2014. I check in the morning and I check in at night. And I resist my urge to want to comment in my challenge groups every single second, because my coaches, my next Star Diamond coaches, my next, pay for their mortgage with Beachbody coaches are coming from my challenge groups 90%, 95% of the time. So I'm grooming them as coaches before they even know, which means I'm showing them that it's possible to be a coach and to build this business while they work a full-time job when they're in my challenge groups. Because they're seeing that I only check in. I love your vicious nonverbals. Like, yeah, okay, we're like having a party here together. Like, I'm with you. Okay. But I'm checking in the morning and at night, because when I worked at Google, there was no way I was working during the middle of the day of my business. I couldn't do the sneaky thing. Like, I would bring my phone into the bathroom, and like while I was peeing, I would like check in on a message. But that was the extent of how much I worked on my business at work. So I want my coaches to see it's possible, which is also why any of you that follow me on social media, like send me a friend request or whatever, but any of you that follow me on social media or Instagram, you'll see that I don't have crazy videos. I don't have super lavish stuff. And the reason is because I want to set the foundation that it's duplicatable. Everything is duplicatable in this business for me, which means I could go spend more money to hire someone to have like awesome graphics and do like cool things for me all the time. But I choose not to publicly, because I want people to see it's duplicatable. There's a reason why Melanie Mitro still has melaniemitro.blogspot, because her target market is stay-at-home moms who probably don't want to invest that much into their business yet. So be smart in that regard too, right? Where like, don't try and make this overcomplicated publicly either, or in your challenge groups. Keep it simple. Always, because it's duplicatable and people believe that they can do it too. And if you are maybe the first person to tell someone that you believe in them. You maybe think that they have all this confidence, but you have no idea what's going on behind closed doors. And when you send someone a message that's in your challenge group that's working hard toward their goals and they've worked out for 5 days in a row, and you send them a message just like, you are killing this. I'm so grateful for you to be in this group because of X, insert specific reason. Don't make up a bullshit reason. Sorry. BS reason, real authentic reason of why you think they're awesome. They're going to feel so connected to you, and they're going to build credibility. Like, you build more credibility for yourself. They're going to have trust with you. And then if this is the right thing for them, which you don't get to make that choice, they get to make that choice, right? You only get to just share your life as authentically as you possibly can, as consistently as you can. They get to make that choice. If they connect with you and they know that you believe in them, awesome. And they see that they can do it too. If you are super excited and you're checking into your challenge groups all day long, I guarantee you, which trust me, everyone does that. So like, I can see your face that you're like, oh my gosh, I do that all day. Totally fine. But just think about it from an outsider's perspective. They are probably thinking, it's so cool. I'm so proud of her. This is so cool for her, but I could never do that because my job requires this of me. To each their own, but that's just how I built my business and what I've told all of my coaches. And then then they're confused. And I love the confusion, because then my challengers are confused of like how I actually do this, what I do as a full-time job, because they're like, wait, you literally check in like in the mornings and at night and you set this group up and you have a full-time income. Like, what do you even do? I don't get it. Curiosity is great. I want to create curiosity, right? Because then I can talk to them and then I can be myself in here, like, and figure out how this business could serve them. So does that help? Yeah, cool. You guys are fun. Woo! Anything else for me?
So I have a question. How do you, with the exception of people that you're inviting from your actual challenge groups, how do you reach out to, you know, like your coach avatars? Like, do you invite them to coach like sneak peeks? Do you do webinars? How do you find them and invite them?
So I do coach opportunity webinars. But honestly, in the last, there was a time in my business, where I got a little bit too caught up in wanting to bring coaches in straight from the get-go. But I found that if I can get them in the door to be in a challenge group first, they're going to be stronger believers in the products. The cycle takes longer, but they can sign up if I see potential in them as a coach, or they see potential in themselves or potential interest as a coach. They can sign up as a coach and be in my challenge group, but I require that they participate in a challenge group, because it's just like, I wouldn't want to recommend a restaurant that I've never been to. Like, I want them to experience it for themselves before that they're going to go out and talk about it. And even though that takes longer, it's built such a solid foundation. So I don't feel as much of like the dips as other coaches in the network, because these people are advocates of what this business is actually built on, right? Which is relationships, number one, I think, over products. Relationships and then products, right? Versus coming in, and there was a time in my business too where I shared a lot about the lifestyle, because I was like, who would not want to do this? Like, this is crazy. Like, I'm crying all the time because I'm like, I can actually like jump on a plane. This is my grandma. Like, just weird stuff that was happening. And I was like, this is amazing. Isn't everyone going to want to do this? But I found that it really is, they have to get into a group and they have to see. So if you're trying to get more coaches, you need to hit higher success club numbers and get more challengers, because those challengers are going to be your best coaches. That being said, of course, finding your avatars and inviting them directly to a coach opportunity webinar, that works too. But most of my coaches don't come that way, to be honest. And once I switched over to that, like, there was only a short time, maybe like a quarter of like, as in like 3 months of my business, where I was directly coach inviting a lot of people that I thought would fit into my niche. But a lot of those people quit because they come in, they have certain expectations, and that doesn't work. You know, at least it hasn't worked for me. So I don't do a lot of, and again, it goes back to like, I don't actually do a ton of like coach sneak peeks and stuff like that. I encourage all of my leaders to to lead with their strengths. So if they are really interested in like content creation and stuff like that, like, I'm going to do coach sneak peeks. And like, some people on our team do coach sneak peeks. Some people go live and do live coach opportunity webinars, but majority of my current like newer diamonds and like newer emerald coaches, they're getting their coaches from their challenge groups. Same with me. That doesn't really give you a good answer, because I just am not really doing it, but that's my answer, I guess, is like, I just get more people in my challenge groups.
Do you post in your challenge groups then about the coaching opportunity kind of posting? No. You just do it, because I've done that privately. Like, I've messaged people. I'm like, you're such a natural. You're so good at this. Like, I love how you're checking on these people. Like, I do that. But you don't actually post anything in the feed then? No. Okay.
And also because they're seeing my public stuff, right? And I talk about coaching often publicly. Like, I intertwine it into a lot of things. So they're seeing my public stuff, and like, I'll share what I'm doing for that day in my group. Like, oh, like, had a meeting or coach meeting and blah, 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 and then whatever. But I don't share publicly my coach opportunity webinars into my challenge groups. I message them individually telling them. And at the end, so when I'm doing 21-day groups, I have a graphic that's on Friday. So this would be my exception to what I just said. On the last Friday of the group, I have a little graphic that says like 1, 2, 3, 4, your options, like go another round, switch it up, like change your program. Third, become a discount coach, or fourth is like be a coach apprentice or something. So that's a graphic that's posted. So they're not invited to a coach opportunity webinar, but they are aware what's your option, and comment below with 1, 2, 3, or 4 of what your option is. And I can send that to you guys too, that graphic. One of my Star Diamond coaches on my team made that. But yeah, that works really well. And I got that from like Summit 2015. Someone talked about that, and I was like, oh, that's really smart. And a lot of times people are like, oh, I'm actually interested in this. But because anyone that's been in my group that has been participating has already received a message from me on week 1 and week 2 from me that's saying why I think they would be good. So when that graphic comes around on day, what would that be? Day 19, they've already had 2 messages from me about it. And we've had a conversation. So that I kind of know what direction they're going to go at that point. Sometimes I'm shocked and they're like, I want to build a business. I'm like, what? Okay. So yeah. Great questions. Anything else? Huh? No?
Are you sure, guys? Going once. All right, so I'll say my spiel, and I'll keep it short because this call was awesome, and we're almost at 9:30. So you had an action item, and I always love to kind of leave a call with having them do the action item. So
yes.
I was writing really, really fast, but it was, what were you worried about when you were first a challenger? So going back to that mindset and posting like what you were skeptical about and kind of putting your objections out there.
Yep.
So if you can just say that once more, and that is my kind of call out to you guys, because I said to them that I was going to do a little raffle tonight, and my raffle is whoever does this is on live, they'll get something from the leadership. So
cool. Okay, can I do a 2-part? Just like 2.
Of course.
Many things.
Yes.
So one would be the objection post, but I think even more like of what you were scared of before you became a coach or a challenger, posting about that publicly and getting into the habit of building that into your repertoire of posts, right? Of the things that you were fearful of, even if it's just time, whether it was money, how you justified cost, like solving the objection publicly, but don't make it a 5-paragraph essay. Try and keep it short. And when you write a 5-paragraph essay, cut out 3 and then cut out 2 and then make it like I post really long too, so I get that. The second part, which I think is the most valuable thing that I could tell you, is decide what success each day means for you. For me, I am an all or nothing person. So that means I don't buy dark chocolate covered almonds because I don't eat 3, I eat like 300. So I decide what I can do every single day consistently. And that means that I made, even as a full-time coach, I make that list something that's manageable for me to do every single day, even on the days when it's not convenient, when I'm traveling, when I don't feel like it, when I'm in a fight with my boyfriend, when whatever, right? And just decide to do that every single day. For me, it's easier to work for an hour on a Saturday morning than it is to commit to 2 hours on a Friday when I was working full-time. I'm not talking about me now. I'm talking about me then. Deciding what that looks like for you. And for me, like I said, it's going to be the vital behaviors for sure. And then deciding how many friends you want to add, how many messages you want to do. And you are posting on Facebook every single day. You have to. Otherwise, you lose credibility with your audience. And when you work really hard to build that, you're like, shoot, I forgot to post. It's like, no, you don't forget. Because, I mean, given I live with a dentist, so we brush our teeth in this house, but you don't forget to brush your teeth. You don't forget to post on Facebook. Just do it once. Some people say 3 to 5 times a day, but just at least do it once. At least show up one time. Because people will remember that, right? Whatever your platform is. Most of us use Facebook. I use Instagram too, or whatever it is that you use. So figure out what your list is and then decide to actually commit to it. And as you get a team, whether you have a large organization underneath you, you have 1 coach underneath you, you have 0 coaches, that vision becomes so freaking important. Because I will tell you guys, to kind of end on this, my vision of what Beachbody, my next big goal with Beachbody has nothing to do with rank, but it is for my boyfriend, who graduates NYU Dental School in May of 2018. We've been together for 8 years. And I really want to get married without any debt. His tuition is $77,000 a year for 4 years. Plus we live in downtown New York City. So you guys can imagine. But my goal and my vision is I'm wearing this red cutout dress and I'm sitting in the audience and he walks across the stage to get his diploma and I'm sitting next to my dad and his mom. And I can like visualize it, like I can feel what it feels like. I'm also like ridiculously toned, you guys, in this red cutout dress that I can visualize. And he's walking across the stage and getting his diploma and we have no debt because I paid it all off with this business that I didn't think was real. And my team knows that. And I can tell you, I get so many text messages whenever people are out and they see red cutout dresses, they send me text messages of it. And it's so ridiculously important for your team to know your vision, because if you want them to get on board your train, that's leaving the station and running full speed ahead. They have to know what you're doing. And it can't be that you want to help people, because if you don't want to help people, you should have been quit by now, right? You should have already quit. So figure out what that is. Stay consistent to just those tiny little things. And you guys, like, send me a message when things just explode for you even more than they already have, because I will be so excited for you guys. Because this is the best freaking business ever. Ever, ever, ever. I love it.
Yeah. Woo. Well, thank you so much. This was absolutely amazing. Thanks for taking the time out before leadership. We all completely adore you, and this was awesome. So thank you.
Thank you, Bri. So nice to chat with you. See you,
everyone.